All right, so let's return to animation for a bit. Ricardo and I will finally talk about the Bob's Burgers movie. I will almost say Bob
Sure.
Burgers movie, right? So here's the thing, right? So first off, right? Just to touch on the show itself, Bob's Burgers, right? Um, I really enjoy the show. I don't love the show, but I really do enjoy. This is easily one of the best things that Fox has ever given us as far
Right.
as just comedy. And I because it rivals stuff like American Dad,
Right.
The Simpsons, and Family
Well,
Guy, of course,
it
right?
kind of does. It kind of flips it a lot because it's a lot. It's not a mean spirited show like those other shows. Like, look, I like those shows, but they have a very, for lack of a better term, a very biting edge to them. This show flips it, and it's not that. Like, it does a different thing. But yeah, go ahead now.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. There's a sort of a cynicism with those shows, right? But
Right.
with Bob's Burgers, there's like genuine heart to it as
Yeah,
well.
the
Too. And I think that
earnestness.
is the
Yeah,
key.
exactly.
Yeah, you're right. And this is the key to why the show works there, because
Yeah.
like just for me personally, when it comes to these characters, whether it's Bob, Tina, Jean, or Linda or Louise Belcher, right? That's the family, the Belcher family, right?
Yeah.
Or the side characters, whether it's Fish Odor or Sergeant Bosco, right?
Teddy,
They're pretty much
my boy
idiots.
Teddy.
Oh yeah, Teddy. Hey Bob, how you doing, Bob? Hey,
Yeah.
can I get a burger, Bob? Like I just love, like Larry Murphy's voice here as Teddy is excellent. Shit. It's one of those things I want to replicate, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But generally, like in a nutshell, they're pretty much idiots, right? But
Right.
it's so lovable. It's just like you just kind of love to see them just say
What it
dumb
does,
stuff and do
what it
stuff.
does well is you could be weird and not special. Like they're special,
That's right.
but they're not magic special people. It doesn't do the whole, well, oh, just because you're weird that means you're gonna flourish and the ugly duckling is the goose. Not that shit. They stay ugly, but that's all right. And
Yeah, that's right.
big,
Yeah.
that's kind of the big message of the whole show in that general. It's, and to be fair, I think it's the best stuff since early Simpsons.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's where you're going. Early Simpsons. All right.
In my opinion,
I could see. Yeah.
It's like this
Yeah.
Simpsons Futurama, because like I like Family Guy and I like American Dad, and those shows are good on their own right, but they never like reach to those heights in terms of like just brilliance and really brilliant writing and these kind of things. That is my opinion on that. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. And lastly on this show here, right? Well, Ricardo, I just want you to do synopsis for this if you don't mind, right? It's just the humor that always surprises me with this. How these guys, well, the people behind the scene, Lauren Burchard, sorry, and Bernard Derriman, right?
Yeah.
It's just how they just come with this like irreverent humor, and it's one of those things that I know for some people will just annoy them because
Right.
of just how dumb the characters are, and it's like, all right, you're just being dumb for the sake of being dumb. But again, because of just how likable and lovable they are, it's just like, yeah, this works, man. But again, I just don't know how these guys pull it off, but they pull it off though. And yeah, you just get all this snappy, witty, just and very sharp, humor and writing as well too. And just all these absurd but just still delightfully entertaining scenarios, man. You know what I mean? So yeah, so when it came to this movie here, I was surprised that we were getting this in the first place, right? And funny
Right.
thing, well, I should say the time of its release here digitally is around the same time, sorry, that the 15th anniversary, believe it or not, of a little film called The Simpsons Movie.
Right.
Is around that same time period. Yeah. And I was meaning to talk about that movie, right? But probably won't, right? But yeah, but the big sell about the Simpsons movie for me was literally how much years we had to wait for it to come
Yeah,
out, right?
which
'Cause this
which
thing
which
came out
I
in 2007.
yeah, which
You
was
know?
a hurt to the movie. Yeah.
That is true because it does kind of
Strong.
play out like
Yeah, because
like an
South Park
extended
was like
episode
what,
of
4 years or something like that.
yeah, roughly like 4 years since the series dropped that we got bigger, long, and uncut, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk about this with this movie here in terms of the timing of it, right, and how it feels ultimately, right? But yeah, with the Simpsons movie, it was just like, all right, but we wait like a full 17 years, or I guess 18 if you want to say it came out in 89. I think it came out in 89 or 90. I guess you could tell me in the comment section, right?
Right.
But yeah, we literally had to wait like roughly 17 years for it to come out, and for the most part, I mean, I enjoy it. I enjoy it for what it was, but it's one of those things like you can look back at 2007 like, oh yeah, that happened, right? But honestly, I have not revisited that show, that movie, I should say, at
Right.
all, right? But yeah, Ricardo, take it away. You can talk about Bob's Burgers, why you enjoyed so much, and during your review of it, you could kind of compare it, if you will, to the Simpsons movie, right? So yeah, take it
Right.
away.
Yeah, no, yeah. So yeah, Bob's Burgers is a show that again I absolutely fell in love with. It's it again the earnestness of it. It is very subversive in terms of like what real underclass and working class people in a modern United States go through. It doesn't do the same conceit as what a Homer Simpson was, say, 30 years prior. And it's just a genuinely earnest and smart show in the face of depressing circumstances. Like it's when you think about it, like what these characters are and the town they live in and who they have to contend with. Yeah, some real insidious nonsense is be going on, but yet they approach this with a there's a reverence and they make it work. And again, it's one of those situations where they'll probably never get out of it. They'll never be the magical person. They never go into Hogwarts or to borrow from wherever narrative stuff, right? They'll never become the hero of a thousand faces type characters. They're not that, but that's okay, right? They're not gonna. It's not they don't have an Xavier mansion for them, right? And it's always a shorthand for that kind of conceit with these characters, and that's why the show works so well. It's a bunch of all of them is a bunch of creatives and talented people, but they're never gonna make it, like because they're not that talented. The only person who's actually genuinely brilliant in his craft is Bob himself and those burgers he makes. Unfortunately, he's kind of bad at everything else. That is
You
the
know,
nature of the show.
yeah,
And yeah, that's the whole thing about it, the conceit of it. And well, my attitude with this movie is, unfortunately, it is the Simpsons movie, unfortunately, where it's
yeah,
not that bad of a script. It's fine. It's reasonably funny and entertaining, but doesn't hold a candle to what the heights of the show was. Like Simpsons, you see this them first 5 seasons of the Simpsons, and I know we could get into big debates about Golden Era and which eras of Simpsons better, and I'm not Simpsons gatekeeping or anything like that. But when Simpsons was at its height, it had some true brilliance, like absolute brilliance. Like still to this day, Flowers by Irene has cracked me up, or bits
right.
like if you know what CS catalog is, right? Just every time somebody try to bullshit me about something, I don't just say CS catalog. It's still the funniest bit for me. And yeah, Bob's Burgers is
Oh,
like that.
like who shot Mr. Burns, right?
Yeah,
Is
I
is
mean, it's
still
just
one of the
it's
greatest
yeah,
two-parters
yeah,
in
it's a
TV
brilliant
history. Like
yeah,
the
it's a brilliant
world watch that, you know?
yeah, it's just a brilliant comedy classics though. And that's how I feel about this. This also was like to me, it was the real show that you know moved on from from Simpsons. To me, it was a real like uh torchbearer from Simpsons, in my opinion, not Family Guy. Right? Family Guy just comes across like a ripoff, in my opinion. This was the real torch. This felt like the new Simpsons. And it's a real shame that they followed the part of the Simpsons in the sense of the movie. Because the movie it's not bad. It's good. It's fine. Just it could have been so much better. Or at least it felt like it could have been so much better, in my opinion. And I was just so underwhelmed with it overall as it was. I didn't hate this. Story was all right. It had some good bits, but I felt they could have do so much more. Mostly because so many characters were missing. Like I really wanted them to bring in the prostitutes, or I really wanted them to bring in all these little side characters of the tongue. Like one of okay, so I'm no surprise I'm kind of left wing politically, right? And Sam Cedar is one of my favorite left wing commentary people. I watch the show a lot. I was a big fan of Michael Brooks, and Sam Cedar has a voice in this, right? That's one of the reasons I like the show so much, because it caters to those sensibilities there. And it hardly had his character in it. He just had one little small
I
scene.
know.
It had one small scene, and I was like, come on, man. They could have do so much more with this. I didn't hate this. It's fine. But I really felt they could have do more with it as it is. It's a solid enough script. It's funny enough. They focus on the main characters. But I really wanted them to do more and bring in more with it. As it is, yeah, but before we can talk about it, but then I'll give Murray.
Yeah. I have to echo your viewpoints on this show here too, right? Because this was one that admittedly I really, really, really wanted to like, but I just want to like it's fine, right? What the show does, right? I have to commend them for it though, by the same time I think it's to the detriment of the film, is that it centers a lot on the characters themselves, and it gives you enough of their characteristics to be like, okay, this is why I should care about this person. This is a trait of this character, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of hones in it a lot. I know it's for people who probably go into to Bob's Burgers, the franchise for the first time, not knowing who these characters are, right? Case in point, Tina Belcher, right? One of my favorite characters. Just offer Dan Mintz's voice. It's just something about how he does that voice. And yes, it's a low monotone voice again.
Right.
It's a girl again, right? But it's how he delivers that voice is hilarious to me, right?
The flatness.
Yeah. And because Tina just so goddamn weird.
You know?
For the sake of being weird, I don't know, she just makes me laugh every time I see her, right? But yeah, they do the thing where she have this she just loves horses, and
Right.
she loves Jimmy Jr., who is the son of Jimmy Pestos, the guy
Right.
who
So I
owns
know it had a big controversy.
pizzeria place.
I know it had a big controversy.
Sorry, not a pizzeria, sorry.
Yeah,
the restaurant
pizza.
opposite Bob's Burgers.
Yeah. No, but I know it had a big controversy involving the voice of Jimmy Pesto. Because I think he was like he's some big Trump person, and he was
Okay, I didn't even know that shit.
He was
Wow.
in the January 6 riots or some nonsense like that. It was something ridiculous. And I know he left the show now because of that. I was like, oh, this big right wing on the left wing show. That's kind of weird. I mean, that's like that about as ridiculous as Hercules on Supergirl. Like, it's so weird.
Yeah.
That they get this weird right wing on an ostensibly very progressive show, however. Anyway.
Right. So
I know they couldn't get all the characters back. And I still find Bob and Jimmy Pesto's back and forth is some of the funny shit in the show.
I know, boy, because of how childish they
Yeah.
Especially Bob.
Petty
Bob
it
just
is,
act like a real child when he's
Yeah.
because Jimmy is just like real shit him up there. Bob is like, like he just
Right.
trying to get back at him there.
Yeah,
I love that too,
How
right?
petty it is get there.
Yeah. yeah. So I appreciate how the show kind of spends a little time to focus on the quirks of each character, right? So yes, everybody have a quirk. So Tina and Jean and everybody, right? Louise, with her affinity, always, with those bunny ears and all that kind of stuff. And it spends enough time for on the film to kind of introduce new new viewers to them, right? To the world of Bob's Burgers, right? It kind of, but I do agree with you. Other characters that like other popular characters, just kind of show up on the side. Every so often, you might just see like a glimpse of them, right? And it's kind of weird because in the end title sequence, if you're familiar with the series, you see them kind of do some kind of weird musical bit or whatever. You just see them dancing, and the song is cool and the message is cool, but it's like, I wanted to see you. I wanted to see all. I wanted to hear more lines from you guys. So it's like, all it is there for it. So to the untrained eye, it's just like, all right, I don't know who these characters are, but I should kind of treat them as, all right, they're part of the show, right? But for people who know who these characters are, it's like, well, why have them there if they wasn't really in the show, right? Anyway, but I do like the choices of characters that they have here, like side characters, just to say, right? Like Teddy, for example, and Felix and Calvin, Fishwood and stuff like that, right? I mean, Felix and Calvin are still goddamn idiots, you know what I mean? But you like them because they're idiots, right? The story for what it is, it's fine for what it is, right? But here's the thing, right? Here's the problem with it, right? It reminded me a lot of I think it was season 4. I think it was season 4, right? I believe it was, which had this great double episode finale involving Calvin wanted to get back at his brother, and there's this thing with the pay and him wanting to murder the Belchers, all that kind of stuff there. So the way how the setup of the story is, I don't want to spoil what it is. It felt very much like that, like it was hacked back it, right? It's even to the point that they brought, admittedly, one of my favorite characters in this. That would be Calvin's on again off again girlfriend Fanny, who is voiced by Jordan Peele.
Right.
I don't know, for me, the moment Fanny came in, the moment Fanny talked, and I realized it's Jordan Peele, I was in stitches. That is still one of the funniest characters I've ever seen in Bob's Burgers. Though I just love that. Just that smart. No, that's the way. It's like this full Caucasian voice that Jordan does. But it's so hilarious. I love it, right? Yeah, she's there, and they kind of treat her like, and because she was there, and because Calvin was there too, they kind of treated it like, oh yeah, what happened in that episode of season 4 did happen, but that's not what we talk about now. This is something totally different, right? So it's kind of weird. So if you're a fan, you'll kind of get your reference, but everybody else is like, all right, I don't know what's going on. Who's this character? I don't know, right? So it's that kind of weird balance and act that they try to do. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, right? Other than that, the story itself it just kind of felt a bit like that same two-parter, right? guy wanted to take down the fish orders, and it turned out to be a relative, not gonna say who, and it's some kind of real petty scheme of revenge and all that kind of stuff. It just felt kind of like by the numbers, like stuff that literally we've seen before in in the series, right? So just to compare it to something like, say, I'll compare it now to Simpsons movie and and South Park Bigger, Long and Uncut, right? What South Park Bigger, Long and Uncut was able to do so well, right? It was like, all right, we know this show on Comedy Central. Right? We know how raw and raucous this humor is, right? And offensive it is to some people, right? But let me just put this in movie form now. Let me slap an R rating for this now. And let me just really take the piss out of people, Dread. So that show went out of its way to just offend people. And it just dropped so much F-bombs and curse words, all that kind of stuff. It was amazing. It was brilliant, actually, right? In its subversive humor, right? And then on top of all that now, they just drop all these Broadway-style musical numbers now, right? Like Kyle's Mom's a Bitch and all that kind of stuff. So like, oh shit, that's where we going with this, right? So it just ramped everything up to 11. Right, so that's what they get with that movie. That's why that movie stand out, right? But Simpsons movie, no, it just felt like, all right, it's the same characters we know, and it's just a movie with the same characters we know. So unfortunately, while I did enjoy it and I get some chuckles and laughs out of it, it felt like an extended episode. It felt like a two-parter that we just see on big screen, right? And yeah, that's the same thing here with this movie. It just felt like an extended episode, like a two-parter, very similar to like what we saw in that season 4 finale. You know what I mean? Something involving the theme park at the wharf and all that kind of stuff and all this drama. And it's like, all right, well, yeah, kind of been there, seen that. You know, the stuff with Louise trying to prove herself. You know what I mean? And she not being a baby. Kind of saw that before. Tina, you know, wanted to prove that she could kind of survive a summer without thinking heavily about Jimmy Jr. Kind of saw that before. Bob and Linda trying to keep the business afloat.
Right.
Kind of saw that already.
Yeah,
you know
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it just kind of felt like the whole scene, you know?
You know what I was annoyed by too? I kind of wanted them to do the South Park thing by actually getting to see Louise without her hair. Without the cap.
Yes, like, and they had an opportunity and they didn't do that. It's like how with Kenny, you had that one moment where you saw his face and it was like, it was awesome, right? Yeah. Right. But yeah, like they cop out last minute. It's like, dude, we wanted to see the hair. It's like, no, but because they spent so much time on the whole hat thing, it's like, well, at least you could have seen it, and we didn't, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The hair, whatever, right? So in closing, right? Yeah. So unfortunately, this really did feel like an extended episode. But what I will say though is that if you are a diehard Bowser Burgers fan, you wouldn't care regardless. I guess you will enjoy every minute of it. You'll be cracking up throughout. For me though, like it was funny in bits. I chuckle, I laugh in some bits, but it didn't really hammer like Lamauin, right? Throughout, right? I wanted to be Lamauin at it, but unfortunately it's just like, that's funny, it's funny. But that's because of the characters and because of what I know about the characters already, right? So far less for people who go in blind, who have no clue who these characters are, right? They might just find it weird, they laugh at it, but others, I imagine some people will be like, what's the big deal? I don't get, right? But that's not to say that the show isn't worth checking out, though. I mean, I think that the animation is excellent in this. I know it's within how it looks right now. It's it looks way different from when it first started, right? But yeah, animation is great. Voice acting, of course, is stellar, right? Did not expect the musical bits. There wasn't much, but they were there and they were perfunctory, I guess. But
so here's the thing with that, right?
It kind of worked.
I get what I was trying to do with that way. It's kind of intentionally bad, like that.
Yeah,
that kind of intentionally
because and here's the funny part. Sorry to cut you. And here's the funny part. They did it in that two-parter that I mentioned before in season 4. They did the musical bits there too. The same style where it's the same kind of Broadway. I am talking and what I'm doing. I have to talk and I don't know. And basically kind of singing what's in your mind. They do that here again, Yeah, go on.
Yeah. That even, I get where it working, but it still fall flat.
Yeah, and I think the reason being, just before we get to written, is that the song, all right, like lyrically we get where they're coming from, but the songs don't stick, right? It's a musical number. The songs had to stick. That's why the South Park, the Bigger Long and the Uncut, those songs work, right? They stick some bangers, right?
Like I don't expect them to get Lin-Manuel Miranda or anything like that, but come now, man, they could do something with it, man. I don't know.
Yeah, because they decided to bring it into this movie here, so it's like, well, yeah, they had to stick, but they didn't, right? So, not bad. could have been better, but I would say if you're a fan, you will appreciate, right? Non-fans, I would say I would recommend at least watching some episodes of Bob's Burgers to familiarize yourself with the characters. So at least when you go into this one, you're like, okay, that's why this character weird, that's why that character so blah 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 blah, right? Cause yeah, if you go into this without having seen any episode of the show, yeah, there's no way I see you can really enjoy this, man. So
Yeah.
rating wise, yeah, like a decent 3 out of 5,
I
man.
think
It's
the
nice.
show,
It's
the
nice
show,
to watch.
yeah, the show too niche to go mainstream like this, like to play so basic, no. Like no, lean into the fan base. The fan base is like you see how the Beavis and Butthead thing. I didn't like it personally, but like Beavis and Butthead fans really liked it, from what I understand. It's like that.
Yeah,
Like,
and
lean into
it's stuck to the formula, stuck to
It's
the
stuck
fan
to the
base.
formula.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. But I think like this one was trying to cater to non-fans too. You know, it's
Right.
just like,
And I think
all
that
right,
was
we have to kind of tell the rest of the world outside of the fan base why this movie exists. So it kind of caters to them, but trying to cater to the fans too. And it doesn't always work when they try to cater to both, and it doesn't always work simultaneously, right? But yeah, for what it is, it's fine. But admittedly, it could have been better. It is another Simpsons movie, if you will, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But at least the show is still strong enough to continue on. And you'll just kind of remember back in 2022, there was a Bob's Burgers movie, right? And I'll stop here. So Ricardo, final thoughts or rated?
Yeah. Again, mid. Again, I'm not overwhelmed. Just whelmed. I really felt they could have done more with it, to be honest. But it was fine. It was pretty decent for what it is. But yeah, I really felt they should have done more with it. It has so many funny side characters that could have really do it, and they just do the main kind of characters. I just kind of annoyed that Sam Cedar didn't get more material, because like his character is absolutely hilarious to me. But whatever.
Yeah. Well, rating. Why will you give it?
Yeah, 7 out of 10.
All right. That's fair. Okay, cool. Yeah.